November 18, 1978. A U.S. congressman lies dead on a jungle airstrip. In the next hour, 900 people are about to die. Bodies of children, families, believers, all because one man convinced them that death was freedom. This isn't a horror movie. This is Jonestown, and what happened there changed forever how we understand manipulation, control, and the terrifying power of belief. Jim Jones didn't start as a monster. He started as a preacher with a radical idea, a church where black and white people worshiped together as equals. In the 1950s, segregation was law and racism was normal. And here was Jim Jones, a white minister, opening his doors to everyone. He called it apostolic socialism, a mix of Christianity and left-wing politics. And it worked. Free food, housing assistance, legal aid for the poor. People's temple grew fast, especially among black Americans searching for dignity in a racist system. But behind the sermons about equality, former members started whispering about something else. Mandatory donations, surrendering your property, cutting ties with family outside the temple. And if you question Jim Jones, public humiliation, beatings, threats. The church was becoming a cage. So why didn't people leave? Because Jones had a plan and it wasn't in America anymore. By the mid-1970s, pressure was mounting. Defectors were talking to journalists, and investigations were starting. Jones's solution? Run. But not just anywhere, to the jungles of Guyana, South America. He called it Jonestown, a socialist utopia, a refuge from American racism, fascism, and nuclear war. Over 1,000 people followed him, families, children, true believers. They thought they were building paradise. But Jonestown wasn't paradise. It was a prison. Grueling labor from dawn to dusk. Food shortages while Jones ate well. Armed guards patrolling the perimeter. And loudspeakers blasting Jones's voice 24/7 sermons, rants, paranoia. And then came the white nights. Emergency drills in the middle of the night. Jones would wake everyone, claim the CIA was coming to kill them, and force them to drink what he said was poison. It wasn't not yet, but it was practice. Practice for what came next. Back in the United States, families were desperate. Letters from Jonestown sounded wrong, scripted, scared. A group called Concerned Relatives formed and demanded answers. They found an ally, Congressman Leo Ryan from California. In November 1978, Ryan flew to Guyana with journalists, aides, and worried relatives. His mission was simple: check on American citizens and see if they wanted to leave. At first, Jonestown seemed fine. Stage performances, smiling faces, warm welcomes. But cracks appeared fast. During the visit, a woman slipped a note to one of the journalists: "Help us get out of here." Then another resident asked to leave. Then another. 14 people in total wanted out. Jim Jones watched his control crumbling. Then someone attacked Ryan with a knife inside the pavilion. Ryan survived, but barely. The delegation rushed to leave, taking the defectors with them to the nearby airstrip. They never made it home. Port Kaituma Airstrip, November 18th, late afternoon. The delegation was boarding the planes. Congressman Ryan, journalists, defectors, all ready to escape. Then a tractor and trailer arrived. Temple members, heavily armed, jumped out and opened fire. 5 people were killed instantly: Congressman Leo Ryan, 3 journalists, and 1 defector. 9 others were wounded, hiding under plane wreckage as bullets tore through the metal. It was the first assassination of a sitting U.S. congressman in over 170 years. But that wasn't the worst part. Back in Jonestown, 6 miles away, Jim Jones knew what he'd done. There was no going back, so he made one final decision. That evening, Jones summoned everyone to the central pavilion. Over 900 people. Families, children, elders. What happened next was recorded. It's called the death tape. "We didn't commit suicide," his voice echoes. "We committed an act of revolutionary suicide, protesting the conditions of an inhumane world." Jones framed it as resistance, as dignity. He said enemies were coming to torture their children, and that drinking poison was the only escape. AVAT was prepared. Cyanide, sedatives, grape-flavored drink powder. Babies and children went first. Adults used syringes to squirt poison into their mouths. Then the adults lined up, some willingly, many coerced. Armed guards stood watch. Survivors later said people tried to run into the jungle. Guards shot them or dragged them back. Mothers were forced to poison their own children before drinking themselves. Within an hour, 909 people were dead, the largest loss of American civilian life in a single event until September 11, 2001. Jim Jones was found with a gunshot wound to the head, self-inflicted or delivered by a loyalist. Either way, he orchestrated mass murder and called it salvation. When Guyanese and U.S. authorities arrived the next day, they found hell, bodies everywhere, stacked, decomposing in the tropical heat, children clutching parents, families holding each other. Fewer than 100 temple members survived. Most were away from Jonestown that day or escaped into the jungle. The world was horrified. How could this happen? How did no one stop it? Investigators found chilling evidence, stacks of passports, showing Jones controlled who could leave, large sums of cash in overseas bank accounts, millions stolen from followers, and a weapons cache. Jonestown was armed like a military compound. The word cult entered mainstream vocabulary differently after Jonestown. It wasn't just fringe weirdness anymore. It was deadly. Jonestown sparked debates about religious freedom versus government intervention. When does a church become a cult? When does faith become coercion? Those questions still haunt us. You might think that could never happen today, but the psychology behind Jonestown is everywhere. Charismatic leaders, isolated communities, whether physical or digital, us versus them thinking, cutting off outside information. Jim Jones didn't brainwash people overnight. He built trust, offered belonging, and solved real problems like racism, poverty, and loneliness. Then, slowly, he replaced reality with his version of it. Survivors describe it like boiling a frog. You don't notice the temperature rising until it's too late. Today, we see it in online radicalization, conspiracy communities, and extremist politics. The tools have changed, but the tactics are almost identical. Jonestown teaches us something uncomfortable. Normal people, good people, can be led to unthinkable acts if the conditions are right. It's not about intelligence. It's about isolation, manipulation, and the desperate human need to belong. 909 lives lost. 304 of them were children. Their names deserve to be remembered, not just as victims of a cult, but as people who believed in something better and paid the ultimate price for trusting the wrong leader. Jonestown happened because people stopped asking questions, so keep asking them. Question authority. Question leaders. Question anyone who demands blind loyalty. What do you think is the most important lesson from Jonestown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this video made you think differently about influence and control, hit subscribe, because understanding the past is how we protect the future.